Coming up next, I'm giving y'all this prison story about an inmate who came in on gang time and left with a BBL in prison. Stay tuned to the Jersey Street Corner Prison Talk Show.
It's JS Corner from the prison story massacres. I be telling stories about the pushers and the traffickers, trying to keep the YNs away from the bandits. Don't eat.
Oh man. Hey Marvin, something ain't right, man. Hey, something ain't right. It's bigger on one side than the other. It's stuff leaking out of here, man. You ain't do something right, man. You gotta fix it. Man. It hurt. I don't wanna do it, gang. Oh, Jeremiah, come out to play. What up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. So let's get into it. But hold on, real quick. I gotta get something off my chest. A quick PSA. Now, this probably don't have anything to do with most of my viewers, unless you just happen to be from around my area. But I just want to let the haters in my area know, hey man, eat a dick. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy J Corner. Fuck your neighborhood. Just stay out of mine. And just so you know, I just put the automatics up and pulled the revolvers out. So it is what it is. Fuck your neighborhood. Let's get to it. Now today, people, I'm going to give y'all a crazy story time. And whether or not you believe me, I don't know what to tell you. But the stories I tell are true, people. And this one is unlike any other story you have ever heard, I guarantee. Now, I'm not even going to tell you the prison as usual. I just don't do that. I'm glad y'all stopped asking because I'm just not going to do that. This act right here was so heinous. Let's just get to it, y'all. Alright, so in prison, everybody has a skill. I told you before, if you're not good at something, you're not going to eat in prison. And that's just the facts. So whether you could tattoo, or you could draw and, do greeting cards, or you could cut hair, or you could braid hair, or, you selling coffee bags, or you selling bud, or whatever else you selling, you gotta do something. You gotta flip something in prison to make your bread. Now, it wasn't common for people to do crazy things like piercings. Yeah, I know y'all like piercings in prison. Yes. People risk infection. We ain't had no alcohol. Some of us had alcohol, or at least the alcohol pads. CO might slip us a few or whatever. But we didn't have alcohol, and hydrogen peroxide and none of that stuff. So you had people in prison getting gauges. Yeah. COs would bring them in and they'd get the needles and whatever, that makeshift needle, thread it on through your ear. However you numb it up, keep rubbing it, whatever they do, and pow, right through your ear. And now you can't go out the mess hall for like probably almost a month at least, because that thing gonna be hurting. It gotta heal right, and God forbid it don't heal right and start keloiding and turning green and oozing stuff out because you ain't got the proper medication to take care of it. I seen people piercing their lips. People was in there piercing tongues. And I say that to say this. In prison, y'all, you normally will have what we call a prison doctor. Yeah. And I know y'all probably like, you mean the nurse corner? No, you don't want to go to the nurse. The nurse is not going to do what you asked her to do. So if you want to piercing, etc., you're not getting that done in the prison infirmary. You got to get that done by the prison doctor in your pod or even another pod, and you can have him snuck over to your pod. Now, these things was normal, just as normal as getting a tattoo. Seeing people getting things put through their eyelids and their lips, their ears, their nose, all that. Now, a lot of times, a lot of them boys was big on those piercings. And they was getting other stuff pierced too, from what I heard. Of course, I did never see nothing like that, but I've heard of other things getting pierced in prison. Putting little barbells on them or some shit. I've heard of inmates getting their nipples pierced in prison. Yeah. Now, these are some freaky ass people you talking about in prison. These people ain't never going home, or at least not for the next 20, maybe 30 years. So they finding any way to get theyself off and, I guess, feel the way they want to feel. A lot of these men turn to women in prison. So I'm going to give y'all this story. And this is the craziest operation, yes, operation, that I've ever known to take place in a prison. So the prison doctor, his name was Marvin. Big, tall dude, but obviously they said he was gay as hell. He had no problem touching whatever spot you wanted him to pierce. He was with it. He wasn't holding back. So if you wanted some weird shit done, Marvin was your boy. Now, Marvin, he came in there boasting that he had a special set of skills that'll make anybody's boy look 100 times better. So right away, you know, all them jokers on C-Pod, what you talking about? We got a whole bunch of boys. That's how we make money up in here. They over there selling them. You know how it go over there. That C-Pod it's pretty bad. It's pretty much like male prostitution. Pardon me. Now, this guy was doing BBLs in prison, y'all. Yep. Straight up BBLs in prison. And if I'm told correctly, the contents were disgusting. He was mixing some kind of petroleum jelly with something that made it starting to harden and stiffen up, pause, after, a certain amount of time. So it wouldn't be all jelly-like anymore. It would actually turn to kind of like putty. And it would be liquid first to get shot in, and then eventually turn to putty after a few days. So, from what I was told, you had a lot of inmates walking around there with these terrible BBLs. And I know you like, Corner, stop it. Just stop it right there. I'm telling you the truth, people. You had grown boy men walking around prison shaking jelly like Ice Spice. Yeah. Now, like I said, I turn my head anytime I see a boy. I don't even make eye contact. I look the other direction. Me personally, I never even saw doing business with a boy okay. But these dudes with stores and, them pastimes and all of that, they gonna get their money and do what they do. Whatever. And that's where these stories generate from. Because, let me tell you this like this, on the streets. You come up to somebody, a hustler, and you don't got they money. At least for a female. They probably gonna let you slide if you let them slide. You know what I mean? So prison is no different. You come up to a 20-year veteran, a convict in prison. More than likely, you ain't got his money. Oh, it's something else you got that he want. And well, supposedly, these guys was getting those BBLs and throwing it back. Now, this one young guy came into prison. His name was Jeremiah. Tall, light-skinned, had dreads with the gold locks in it. he already looked kind of fruity, with all the color and all that shit, the way he had it. And he had like a man bun out of it or whatever. He was looking crazy. Now, when he first came in there, everybody was looking at him. All the bandits was looking at him. That was like fresh meat, eye candy. And they pretty much placing bids on who cell he gonna go to. Because, whoever get the most bids pretty much wins. It's some kind of strange game that they play on C Block, but they got the COs in pocket, and when they want you, they get you. He came in there talking about he was on gang time, right? And he had never done no real time before. He done some juvenile shit. He had never done no real time. But this time, he caught a bid. He caught a long bid. 10 years for assault with a deadly weapon. And I guess this guy was only about like 150, maybe 150 pounds. Light work. They took advantage of him immediately. They forced him supposedly to get a BBL in prison. Yeah. He had all these gang tats all under his eyes and on his back and all that stuff. They had the tattoo guy in the prison cross all his tattoos out and put like rainbows and hearts and Lucky Charms and shit all over him. They made him look real sweet, y'all. And they forced him to go see Marvin. Now, Marvin wasn't cheap. Oh, no. Those BBLs in prison was going to cost your pimp a pretty dime. But they know if they spent that money, they was going to get it back tenfold. So, they was out there letting that commissary go. Because word was that Marvin was charging like about 3 stacks for a BBL. And if you had complications, that was on you. Once the work was done, he was through with you. He had denied even doing the surgery. I don't know what you're talking about. Now, y'all probably like, where the hell did this guy Marvin learn how to do a BBL? YouTube. You could find the craziest shit on YouTube, y'all. I told y'all we have phones up in there. This fool taught himself how to do a BBL with a rusty ass knife. Yeah. This shit was equivalent of a butter knife that he done scraped and sharpened up on the ground just to do BBLs with. He's slicing butt cheeks open. Pause. Putting this anonymous stuff inside of you. Then the stitches, y'all. This guy actually had a real needle, but he's using thread for your clothing. He's not using medical, stitches. He's using thread for your clothing. Now, how do you think that felt? Now, you got people walking around the prison for about 5 to 8 weeks, can't hardly sit down right, guys lay on their stomach, and people wondering what the hell's going on with them. Only one that know what's up is their roommate, because they not leaving the cell. They staying in the bunk and just standing up for count. But, what the hell was really going on, people? That's what I wanted to know. I felt like I was in a different dimension. I've never heard or seen anything like it. Where you got grown men walking around with tight state pants on, showing off BBLs. Now, I'm not going to sit here and lie. I think the dude Jeremiah, I think he was already fruity when he came into the prison. They just helped him along the way a little bit. And that's not where the story ends. The real story starts is when those BBLs heal. The work that they are required to put in, oh, you're going to pay for that BBL. You're going to get out on this block and work, sucker. You're going to get that block, and that block knocked off by the end of today. Or else what? Or else you're going to get your face beat in by Big Gene or the Punisher. Yeah. Y'all don't want no smoke. And I tell you like this, nobody went to CPOD and came back the same. Not one inmate do I know that went to CPOD and came back the same. As a matter of fact, they don't come back from CPOD. That's a one-way trip. That's the last stop. Because if you ain't making it on CPOD for any reason, your next step is 23 and 1 lockup, which I might add will probably be better than CPOD. Yeah. But hey, you can't tell nobody how to live, right? So this guy Jeremiah, he ended up getting pimped out, passed around the prison. I mean, it was punks packing him in every night, just packing him out. Y'all know what I mean. He was getting that BBL tested. And that's what they call it. That's the slang that they used to use on CPOD. You test that BBL, that back. Test that back. Pause. See how soft it is. Pause. It was disgusting, y'all. It was disgusting to see a bunch of grown men acting like animals over each other. Yeah. And some of the rumors that I've heard are too atrocious to even discuss on this channel. Because some of the things I've heard that have went down in prison with some of these bandits were just crazy, y'all. Now, in addition to the BBLs, Marvin was also doing breast implants. And I know that sounds crazy in prison, but I'm telling you, this was one of the most stupidest, hilarious thing I've ever seen attempted in my life. Now, I'm saying attempted because almost every one of those definitely got botched. And that pretty much you had no choice but to see, because dudes would walk around with their shirt off in the pod all day long. Now, of course, them boys that's out there trying to catch something, they walking around with their shirt off too, trying to catch something. They trying to catch somebody looking at them. Now, I told you he using thread for your clothes to stitch you up. So you got whatever color thread he could get his hands on. It could be orange, it could be white, it could be black. Who knows? Stitched around your chest. This guy was doing up to A cups with that same material he was using for the BBLs. So I told y'all it was like Play-Doh, like mushy type shit. Once he shot that shit in you, or inserted however he got it in, stitched you up, in a matter of days, it would start to harden up or whatever, and then turn to like Play-Doh, like mushy. These dudes is walking around the pod with one joint bigger than the other, one smashed in, and supposedly I heard somebody even say some dumb shit like it was really like Play-Doh, like you could put your hand on it like that and press, and then your handprint gonna be there on their chest the whole day until it puffed back out, because it take time for that, whatever that concoction was, to redo itself or whatever, puff back out. I'm like, yo, this is the craziest shit I ever heard in my life. Where the F are we at, and why are they allowing this to go down? Now, you probably like, what the officers say about it. They don't give a damn, y'all. If they don't have a reason to come on the pod, they don't. They don't care if you in there alive or not. They don't care if y'all fighting. They don't care if y'all smoking, if y'all drinking. They don't care what you're doing in there, as long as ain't nobody in there leaking red stuff. As long as ain't nobody getting their face stomped in the ground and making them have to put their donuts down and get up and do their job and patrol. Man, they don't care what you do. So, in a sense, the inmates run the prison, y'all. They think it's the other way around, but the inmates really run the prison. And I know y'all like, yeah, but y'all be getting locked down and cuffed up and beat up. Guards be cracking y'all. Yeah, when we let them. Don't nobody get beat up by a guard if they don't want to. Because first of all, you're not going to get beat up by a guard unless you do something that crosses the line. Like put your hands on one of them officers or something of that nature. But anyway, the guards, they don't come into the pods as usual or, as much as y'all would think. So they made Jeremiah get one of those damn implants. His shit was looking crazy just like everybody else. So now Jeremiah walking around the jail, or the prison rather, with a BBL and some breast implants. He's looking like a half a woman, I guess you could say. He's almost there. But, I just think that sometimes people take things a little bit too far. None of this, by the way, was, this was all against his will. He did not want to do any of these things. But in prison, Jeremiah, in prison, you get humbled. Sometimes you get chosen. And when you get chosen, well, let's just say, it's no coming back. So, and I'm gonna keep this story short. I want y'all to get in the comment box and tell me what y'all think about this. I know half of y'all gonna get in the comment box and tell me I'm capping. Cool. Alright, I'm good with it. But you could probably find it. You could probably look it up. I can't put too much information out there without risking getting myself in some trouble speaking on the issue. But everything I've said thus far will not get me into trouble. Anyway, Jeremiah ended up with a BBL, breast implants, lip implants, and cheek implants, y'all. He had that crazy solution shot all in his lips, his cheeks. Had it all in his breast, in his butt. Yeah. And then they got him a couple piercings. They wanted him to really look like a female. And needless to say, y'all, the things that happened to Jeremiah after his transformation were despicable. Now, do I feel sorry for Jeremiah? I don't know, y'all. Because he came in saying he was on gang time. So, I don't know. Maybe he got what he deserved. I don't know. Y'all get in the comment box and tell me what y'all think. Alright, listen. That's going to be it for this story. As usual, I am your boy, Jersey Street Corner. This is the Jersey Street Corner Prison Talk Show. And I'm out.
It's JS Corner from the prison story massacres. I be telling stories about the pushers and the traffickers, trying to keep the YNs away from the bandits. Don't eat the honey bun, don't drink the coke, don't become another victim or the butt of a joke. Don't close both eyes when you sleep or get choked. When you go to the mess hall, sit with your team, cause if you sit with some punk boy, you can get seen, then you can get dealt with. Prison justice like you never felt it. I be taking y'all back to stories of the helpless. That lava I spit, get your boys' stories melted. I spit about prison justice cause I dealt it. And you a real hater if you can't respect it. All that bullshit, yeah, I'm here to check that. Any confrontation, I'ma show up. Bet that. You a real hater, I'm here to address that.